invite you to be seated. We have two things. I'm going to start with a shorter one first. The first one is on May 31st through June 1st, we're going to be going to the Minnesota Annual Conference and looking forward doing that. Sue Davis Oberg and Janelle Johnson are going to be joining Pastor Grant and I up there. And one of the things and our constant move for perfection is we take a love offering to share with the conference. And so next Sunday, we will be taking a love offering to be sent to the conference to do the work of the ministry of the people of God. But today, our biggest call to action is a Barnabas Award. And there's this long history here at Advent where we recognize the important role that volunteers play in not just maintaining this place, but proclaiming the love of God for the world through acts of service. And we do this, and it has been in the last couple of times, it's been more of a staff thing just because so much of our life was dictated by isolation and COVID restrictions. But we have a couple of really important winners this time, and I'm going to allow Grant to do that announcement.
Thank you. So I wanted to start this off by basically saying youth ministry is hard. It's very hard. That's why I need all the support I can get. And this year, this award goes to recognizing that support. So, whether my support's in the kitchen, making all the food and getting the food ready for the youth, or cleaning up the chaos that happened afterwards, or resetting the rooms, preparing the food, I've already said, driving these vans many, many, many miles. And spoiler alert, I did the math, Pastor Eric, it's 20,000 is what I actually counted. 20,000, I don't know how many times around the planet that is. But that's a lot of time. That's in the background. And in the foreground, right, whether they're leading the youth in ministry or being a heat shield for me because other stuff is coming up. But the most important thing for me is whether they are in it with me, right? Whether they can actually have that authentic and safe relationship that these youth need now more than ever. These youth who need these relationships to become whole and healthy adults. So they have been in this with me for over 20 years. And I actually came up with a term for them, Eric, in the early years. I called them adult partners in ministry. But other people didn't like the acronym, which was APIM, and I can't blame them. That was a pretty bad acronym. But adult partners in ministry. But the thing is, I truly value their partnership, right? They continue not just to support our youth, but they are truly invested in them and are a tremendous presence of Christ in them, and it helps the youth to see the Christ in themselves. Now, up until now, by the way, they thought this award would be given to the other, but this year the award goes to both Sean and Jean Scow. So thank you for your partnership. I think you can come up now, yeah.
I got to tell you something. Jean and I have taught confirmation together, and her presence in there is unbelievable. You've heard me say it a million times in here. The behaviors and needs of the children that we're dealing with right now are incredible and overwhelming. And both Jean and Sean are just, you cannot believe how tender, directed, compassionate, and loving they are with children. It is both of them. And we just know when we see a kid that's really struggling, we can just direct either one to them, and we know with confidence they're being cared for. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to communicate in this church. We're not passing on information. We're teaching kids how to love the good news of Jesus Christ, and we don't want them to have to read about it all the time. We want them to see it. And they see it in your loving and tender compassion, and I am just humbled by it, and I'm so thankful for all the hours you give. So you guys got to take this. Yeah, please sing. And one last thing, like Grant said, it is 20 years of being here all the time. It is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, go ahead and take it down there. So one of the action that we do with the Barnabas Award, and we do this we'll be doing this throughout the week, is that we ask people to make contributions to the Barnabas Award. We collect an amount of money, and then Jean and Sean will have the choice of choosing what they want to do with that money towards the church. So I encourage you to give online, send a check, whatever you do to support this award. We'll be collecting that through the week, so you can do that online as well. Let us now turn our attention to think about all the things that we are thankful for, all the gifts that have first been given us, ourselves, our time, and our possessions, and share signs of that so others can know the good news of Jesus Christ. Let's collect our offering.